okay, you gotta hug your plants sometimes, you guys. Welcome to Little Steps with Lily. We are here today to talk about some Disney tips and tricks. I'm still trying to find where I'm gonna be making vlogs, so that's why I'm with my plant, because he's stealing all of the good light. And honestly, I just kind of want to like feel relaxed, because then I feel that's gonna translate on camera. So yeah, that's why we're here. We're here with my plant Thackeray, because Thackeray's been our longest living plant. He is what restored me into thinking that I could be a plant mom. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Thackeray, even though he deserves so much of our time. We love you, Thack. Today we're going to be talking about some Disney tips and tricks for you guys. If you're planning your first vacation to Disneyland. I can't. Okay. Let's try this again. Hi guys, welcome to Little Steps with Lily. This is Disney tips and tricks number 1. Download the Disneyland app. It is going to help you so much. You can buy your tickets from the app. You can order food. You can do merch checkout, which I did not know until after the fact. There's just so many things that you can do. It gives you access to the park in ways that we'll talk about a little bit later. But definitely, tip number 1, download the Disney app. Okay, tip number 2. Definitely figure out what time you guys are going to be eating. I don't know about you guys, but food for my family is such a struggle. One, figuring out where everybody wants to eat, but also what are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? Try to grab some snacks before. I take them with me in my bag, so stuff that's, relatively high in protein so that it fills you up. Stuff that doesn't need to be refrigerated. And figure out when you want to eat. Tip number 3. Figure out what experiences you want to do as a family. I know that the first time we went over the summer, it was the first time my husband and I had been since we were like newly together. So they didn't have Star Wars Land. I guess they had the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but I had never heard of it. / wasn't really in that kind of mindset. We were younger, we were kid-free. So when I heard that they did the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, when we went back the first time around, I was like, we have to do that. So figure out what experiences that you want to do. One, because sometimes they're time sensitive, so you have to get an appointment in for Bibbidi Bobbidi and for the Star Wars experience, where you build the lightsaber. So you definitely want to make sure that you have that planned out in your day. Thankfully, the Disney gods were in our favor when we were there, and we just happened to slide in to both experiences super easily. But I recommend figuring that out ahead of time and then planning your day that way. Tip number 4. Make sure you're wearing and bring additional comfy clothes in case you get wet, especially if you're going in those fall seasons. We went at the very end of September and it kind of sprinkled on us, and I was like so prepared. I had bought little ponchos, like the reusable kind of just cheapy ones, that in case we needed them, we had them. But I also had my rain jacket, like my rain shoes, like I was ready, just because if you're already there and you've just put all the time into planning that vacation, you want to make sure that you're fully prepared for the random rain, but also just making sure that you're comfy in what you're wearing. I know that so many people want that photo op look, but you're really going to hate yourself if you're wearing brand new shoes or an outfit that you can't really feel comfortable in. So pick your outfits wisely. Tip number 5, bring water. I think we had maybe 3 reusable bottles that we would bring, and then sometimes we would bring just like a plastic bottle that we were refilling in case that, it's kind of like you can lose this one. But I also had the ones that I would just carry in my backpack. There are places around the park where you can refill your water, but each time you're buying a water off the carts, it's costing you about $5. So I would highly recommend bring multiple reusable water bottles, maybe one that you can lose if necessary, but yeah, bring your water. Tip number 6, look at the Disney app. Check out the feature where it lays out the map, because not only if you haven't been to Disneyland in a little bit, you're going to want to check out where some of the new experiences are, but also it lets you know the queue times for all the rides. So it tells you like Pirates of the Caribbean is 20 minutes right now, Space Mountain is 50 minutes, and because I'm like intense about this, you guys, what I would do is if I was going on Friday, I watch not only the week before but the days leading up to that day, so that I can kind of see like trends that are very recent, and then I can kind of gauge once we get there. If I'm seeing that Space Mountain normally has like a 30-minute wait time at that time frame, and for whatever reason it's an hour, then I can kind of strategize a little bit. That's kind of how I got us to maximize our rides, especially the first time around. So definitely check that out. And if you have a little extra time, pop on the app and just kind of notice the trends of the most popular rides that you want to ride on. Okay, tip number 7, figure out what rides are non-negotiables for you and your family. For my family, we definitely wanted to do, the first time around, I had to take my daughter on Thunder Mountain Railroad. When we went at the end of September, it wasn't available, but then the Matterhorn was open, so that became our very first ride that we went on. It was like our non-negotiable. My husband wanted to do, what was this ride? I forget, but my non-negotiables are always Space Mountain, Indiana Jones. I love doing like It's a Small World and Peter Pan, but those are kind of like a tier B. It's a Small World you can usually always get in at some point, but Peter Pan is kind of one of those where I saw the queue time when we were there the first time at like an hour, and I was like, no thank you, I love you Peter Pan. We did end up doing it both times, but yeah, that one you kind of have to be strategic about. So check that out, check your non-negotiables with your family, figure out a list of what everybody wants to ride. That way that day you can just execute and know that for sure you guys want to hit those rides. Tip number 8, 7, and have fun. I know that it can be overwhelming. I know that as parents, sometimes we're doing so much, we have so much in our hands, we're constantly running a list of all the things that we need, but these experiences really do come few and far between, and there's such a big moment for your kids. Just take the time to take deep breaths, make time for yourself, give yourself little breaks, and then also just kind of check in with your partners so that you guys are both on the same page, pre-trip, during trip, post-trip, on just things you can kind of do to work better as a team. But just remember that these experiences are so precious and so wonderful, and it's such a big day for your kids if you're there with your kids. So just have fun, because once you're back home, you're gonna miss it.